there. On the issue of Extinction Rebellion, that's why I've invited them in to talk through how they've arrived at the way in which their views on how we can bring it forward from 2050. I just want to hear what they say, because all the expertise so far is saying it's going to be really challenging to do that, but we're open to ideas, and that's why I've said, yes, of course, our target is 2050, but sooner if we can. And we're completely open to those ideas. They'll come in, they'll brief our Treasury team, and I'm hoping that Jeremy will eventually, from that, then we can do a report directly to Shadow Cabinet as well. Last week we met the Chief Exec of the Climate Change Committee and got a really detailed briefing on that. As I say, I'm meeting the John Hart from the Infrastructure Commission too. We've just opened the door to try and literally, it is pick the brains of anyone we possibly can, because if we can bring it forward, we definitely will. And I don't think we should close off any ideas. Obviously, it's the science that will determine what we can do, the practicalities of that. But as we've seen, what Extinction Rebellion has done is opened up the whole debate. So if they've got fresh ideas, let's listen to them. Yeah. I'll abide by collective responsibility, so we'll see what comes out of that debate tomorrow. But you know, when I've been asked time and time again, I've said now I think we've reached that stage where we need to go back to the people. But when I've been asked time and time again what would my position be in that, I said I'm in favour of Remain. I would campaign for Remain. But I want to ensure that we follow by the procedures we have in our party, and that includes the consultations and the Shadow Cabinet tomorrow. But I've made my position absolutely clear. I'm in favour now going back to the people. We've gone through, almost religiously adhered to our conference resolution. We've gone through all those stages, and we've now reached the stage where I think we go back to the people. And yes, I've said in an interview 6 months ago, if there was a referendum now, I would campaign for Remain. The key thing for me at the moment, and I think the thing that holds us all together, and it's interesting, not just the Labour Party, you've seen this morning a number of Conservative MPs willing to bring their government down if necessary, is to block a no deal. Because I've spoken to, right the way through the finance sector, I've met the representatives of the manufacturing sector, I met the Automotive Association, I met the representatives of the ceramics industry, you name it. Everybody I've met so far is saying a no deal would be catastrophic. And we've got to, if necessary, work across party to prevent that happening.
Do you have any message for them today, John? I know you've said you would bring a no confidence vote as soon as the next PM comes in.
Well, I haven't met with them, but the door's always open, right? We've worked cross-party in the past and we're willing to do in the future. Happy to meet with anyone. I think what Tobias was saying was very, very clearly, even deep within the Conservative Party now, there's real concern about the reckless behaviour of Boris Johnson in particular, about pushing us over the edge of a no deal. And I don't want to be in a situation in 6 or 12 months where, as a result of that, my constituents are losing their jobs and we hadn't done everything we possibly could to protect the economy and to protect their jobs and protect their living standards. I think the behaviour of Boris Johnson in particular is dangerously reckless. And we'll see what comes out of the Tory leadership election, but I'm just hoping that members of the Conservative associations look upon their local economy and take a judgment about what a no deal would mean for them, because I think virtually every area of our economy now would be impacted upon it deleteriously.
Any way of him budging?
I don't think Donald Trump is convincible, but obviously we'll have a dialogue. No, we'll have a serious dialogue with whoever is in government in whatever country we possibly can to try and establish an understanding of the threat, and that, we shouldn't rule out a discussion with Donald Trump's administration, at least try and convince and win the argument there. But the reality is, in the States, there's a large movement now that recognises the threat of climate change, that are campaigning on that issue, and will be working with those in Congress and elsewhere to form alliances to try and ensure that we use their influence within their own country to determine the policies of that country for the future.